जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा जय राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधे जयो जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पतगामी भावतु मे निताय गौरांगो गौर हरि जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि पतित पावाना गौर हरि जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय श्री जगन्नाथ सुद्रमा जी श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की जय श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की जय श्री जगन्नाथ सुद्रमा की जय साई गौरंग भगवान की जय श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह स्वामी भगवान की जय श्री ब्रह्मवत गौड़ गुरु परंपरा सांप्रदाय की जय निताई अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृष्णानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपाकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गुरुकृष्ण नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण। नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। यतोदर्पणमर्जनं भवमहद्वाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकरिव चन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वत्मस्थापनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं। नामकारि बहुळा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रादिपा नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशमिह जाननुरागः। तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरुरपि सहिष्णुना अमाननीय मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि। न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वर भवतद्भक्तिरवैतकी त्वयि। मयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करपतितमां विषमे भुवाम्बुधं कृपया तव पादपङ्कजसदोलिसदर्शं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुधाय गिरा पुलकिरणचितं वपुगदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति। युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रवर्षायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहे न मे। अश्लिष्यमापादरतं पिनस्तु माम दर्शनं मन्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदहतो लम्पतो मात् प्रणनाथास्तु देवना पर। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपहतमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Om Pavitro Pavitro Va Sarvavastham Gatopi Va Yat Smaret Pundarikaksha Sabhyabhyantaram Suche Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Hare Krishna, am I clearly audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Praveen Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Dandavata Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Maheshwar Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam Prabhuji, Akinchan Priya Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam. Maheshwar Reddy Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Okay, you're all on mute actually. Okay, Balamani. Hare Hare. Balamani Mataji, Dandavata Pranam, Subbarao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Subbarao Prabhu is leading these morning programs, keeping himself as a backbone, no matter who joins or not. Sanjay Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, by now we all should have been in the flight.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Going to Kolkata. See how Krishna decides. I don't know when we'll get that opportunity again.
Prabhuji, Krishna would have averted a big disaster.
Yeah, he saved us.
Yes.
Saved us in a big way. Yesterday night I called Satya Prabhu. He's not watching the news. He was saying that we should have gone. Why did we stay? I think the wrong decision. I said, Prabhu, are you watching the news? He said, no, I'm not watching the news. Yeah. Vandala Mataji, Hare Krishna. Satyadev Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam. Prabhuji, vouchers anni vachesai, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavata.
Travel vouchers, refund. I got all the refund from. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yesterday night I called. Luckily, one of my tickets was return tickets was rescheduled. I didn't even know that my 15th ticket was rescheduled. And then he told me, sir, you have a choice. You can either schedule it again another 4 days, or you can take full refund. I said, wonderful. De do paise. You know, you can use it for a better purpose. Hare Krishna. So Tarun Kumar, but I'm very sorry for all the devotees who lost money in this endeavor. I really feel sad. I had no hopes myself. I called it like 11 o'clock yesterday. I thought, okay, let me just cancel. 30 rupees aayega, 25 rupees aayega, utna to aa hi jayega. Hare Krishna. Tarun Kumar Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam. Hare Krishna. Sujata Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhakar Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam. Lovesh Prabhuji, Haripriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Raju Prabhu and Shirsha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavata Pranam.
Dandavata Pranam. Anandram Narasimhan Prabhuji and Charanya Mataji and your daughter, please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna. Sunil Sachdev Prabhu, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Humble obeisances. Kiran Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Radhika, Dandavata Pranam, Hare Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna. Radhika Mataji, Hare Krishna. Shigopal Prabhu and Poonam
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare
Ram Reddy Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavata Pranam.
Krishna Mataji and Satya Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam. Poonam Mataji and Praveen Prabhuji and Poonam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam.
Deepa Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Ramakant Deshmukh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam. Thank you for joining. And we have Nexus 10 Prabhu. So I don't know who that is. Hare Krishna, Dandavata Pranam. So thank you all for joining today to the Bhagavatam class. As I was saying, Krishna decides so many things, right? We all plan, we all make our endeavors, and Krishna decides what is right for us, what is wrong for us, when is the right time, what is the right muhurta. If you really see, Krishna is the one who is setting muhurta for all of us. We think that we set muhurtas, right? This is the right time to do this. Select times. But it is Krishna who is actually the cause of all muhurtas and the executor of all muhurtas. Okay? Hare Krishna. Okay, so are we ready for a brief Bhagavatam discussion?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we'll again, since it's Margasira Mas, again I went to 10th canto. Last week we discussed about Brahmana Patnis, right? Brahmana Patnis. So this week we'll discuss about two wonderful devotees. Just like Brahmana Patnis, there are two wonderful devotees in 10th canto. Wait a second. Yeah, 86th chapter. 10th canto, 86th chapter. So I just chose one verse. We'll keep that verse as a verse that we'll read and read and discuss, and then we'll discuss the story of the remaining. Okay, so please repeat after me. 1 minute. Yeah. 10th canto, 86th chapter, 17th verse. Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Aruhya sakam munibhir.
Aruhya sakam munibhir.
Aruhya sakam munibhir.
Aruhya sakam munibhir.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Tayo prasanno bhagavan.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Darukena hritam ratham.
Aruvya sakam munibhir.
Arugya sakam munibhir.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Videhan prayayav prabhu.
Please repeat after me. Tayo,
Tayo,
with both of them.
with both of them.
Prasanna,
Prasanna,
pleased.
please.
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
the personality of Godhead.
the personality of Godhead.
Darukena, by Daruka.
By Daruka.
Ahritam,
Ahritam,
brought forth. Ratham,
Ratham,
his chariot.
chariot.
Aruhya,
Arugya,
mounting.
mounting.
Sakam, together with. Munibhihi,
Munibhihi,
sages. Videhan,
Videhan,
to the Videha kingdom.
to the Videha kingdom.
Prayayav,
Prayav,
went.
Prabhu,
The Lord.
the Lord.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace and His disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat after me. Pleased with both of them.
Pleased with both of them.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead mounted His chariot, which Daruka had brought and traveled to Videha with a group of sages. Hari Hari, Hare Krishna. The purport, this is a small purport here. Please focus as I read it. In his commentary to this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura states that Shrutadeva and Bahulasva were unable to travel to Dwarka to see Lord Krishna because both of them had vowed to regularly worship their personal deity at home. Sri Krishna was very glad to go out of his way to give them both his audience, and while leaving Dwaraka, he insisted that the sages who wanted to come with him should join him on his chariot, because otherwise they would exhaust themselves following on foot. Renowned sages would ordinarily never ever consider traveling in such an opulent conveyance, but on the Lord's order, they put aside their natural aversion and joined him on his chariot. Hare Krishna. So actually, there are a couple of verses before this. I thought I was 1 minute. Yes, this one. This is a very good one. Yeah. Yatra matram tvi ahar ahar daivad upanamati yuta nadhikam tavata tushta kriya chakre yathochita. By the will of providence, he obtained each day just what he needed for his maintenance and no more. Satisfied with this much, he properly executed his religious duties. So we'll discuss a little more on this purport, and then we'll get into the story of the famous devotees, Shrutadeva and Bahulasva. So an ideal Vaishnava Brahmana, even if encumbered by the ties of family life, should work only as hard as required to meet his obligations. Without being unnecessarily agitated for material advancement, he should devote the best part of his life, of his time and assets to his higher duties in the Supreme Lord's service. If a householder can succeed in this program, despite the unavoidable difficulties of his degraded age, he can expect Lord Krishna's personal attention, as will he be seen in the case of Shrutadeva, the perfect Brahmana of Mithila. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji Mataji, what is happening here? This mute, I think somebody is talking. Yeah. Yes. You all can hear me clearly, Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Yes. So, Prabhuji Mataji, what is happening here is Subhadra Vivaha had just occurred, right? Subhadra. Who was Subhadra married to? Arjuna. Yes. Arjuna married Subhadra. So, just now, Subhadra's marriage has happened. And then everybody, all the great sages, great people have come to Dwaraka, right, to witness the marriage, right? And Lord Krishna, in his own kingdom, Dwarakadish, had invited them, and there were many sages who just came by. Let us see. Actually, Bhagavatam says who are all the sages who came here. Wait a second, let me just share, and yeah, if we go back a little, we'll know. Yeah, so Lord Balram says, then sent the bride and groom very valuable wedding gifts consisting of elephants, chariot, horses, and male and female servants. Right? So Lord Balram, what did he give to Subhadra and Arjuna? He gave elephants and chariots and horses, male and female servants. I think this male and female servants everybody can relate to in Kali Yuga. Everybody needs servants to help them in their household chores. So look at the opulence, they used to give servants like that for life. They would just go and serve for life. No attrition of household help. Yeah, so great sages, so here it is being told that Sukadeva Goswami continued, there was a devotee of Krishna known as Shrutadeva. Now, Krishna remembered his two devotees, right? There are two devotees in the kingdom of Mithila called Shrutadeva and Bahulasva. Both of them Mithila. Does anyone remember what is the importance of Mithila?
It's Janaka's kingdom, Janaka.
It is Janaka's kingdom. That is where Srimati Sita Maharani, she appeared. Lakshmi Devi appeared as Sita. And Lord Ram won her in Mithila, right? You all remember this? Yes, so that is a kingdom. So in the same dynasty of Janaka Maharaj, we had another king. His name is Bahulaswa. So there is a king named Bahulaswa, and there is a simple Brahmana in that very kingdom called Shrutadeva. Right? So both of them, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that they could never come and meet Krishna. They could never come and meet Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj says that serve Krishna in such a way that Krishna comes to meet you. Right? That should be the devotee's mode. You should not go and try to see Krishna. Krishna is not an exhibition item that you paid some ticket and you can go and see Krishna, or you get qualified to see Krishna. In fact, our Acharyas, the mood of Gaudiya Vaishnavas is serve in such a way that Krishna himself comes to see you. It might sound very big, like, wow, Prabhu, I can't do it. No, we all can do it. Whatever little that we could do. What did Shrutadeva and Bahulaswa do? If you really see the purport of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur that we read just some time back, it says that they were busy with deity worship. They had Krishna's deity in the house, right? And they were busy with deity worship, and they never left that house also. They never left the house because they have to worship the deities. We can't, if we go out of the house, then who will take care of the deities, right? So deities, how many of you have Krishna deity or Jagannath deity or Gaur Nitai deities in your house? Huh? Hare Krishna. I think Subbarao Prabhu has, right?
We have it.
Yes, Pravin Prabhu has. Many of you have it. Akinjan Prabhu has. So, Lovesh Prabhu has. So, many devotees, fortunately in this satsang, many devotees have the deities. And Prabhupada Mataji's, what do we call deities? When deities are given, how should we take care of them? Just like?
Swam Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Like your own family member.
Like a family member, right? Just like a family member. Just like our children, right? Deities have to be woken up. They have to be given breakfast. They have to be given lunch. They have to be given dinner. They should be allowed to take. They should be requested to take afternoon nap, right? And they should be requested to take nap in the night, right? And they get up. It's never a day when we choose that, okay, we are not going to serve the deities today, because can we do that with our children? With our children, can we say that, okay, today no food, sleep? Can we do that? We can't do that. Okay. Same way our deities also. Right? Same way our deities also. So deity worship is a big responsibility. But Krishna becomes very merciful and he forgives us in many of our offenses that we perform when we try to serve the deities. Right? Deities should be brought in only when we are ready to serve them. Shouldn't bring them and then not serve them. I'm telling this to myself. Right? We should be very, very careful, because it is actually, we are dealing with Krishna. We are dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? See, funny part is, as parents, we earn money, we buy properties, we allocate properties to our children. What about Gaur Nitai? We told that there are children, right? There are family members, right? So why don't we allocate some property to them also? Why don't we give away something for the deities? That's what people did. Don't think that I'm telling something that is not relevant. See, in the olden days, people used to give away some of their properties to the deities, and the deities would go back and rest in the temple. In case they are not able to take care, the deities would be given to the local temple there, and the property also would be given to the local temple. And that is the reason in that culture, temples were the richest institution. Right? Temples had thousands of acres of land, because so much land was given by people, because they actually considered Krishna in those deities, whether it is home deities or whether it is temple deities. Our culture was so great, so great, and we can still see, glimpses of that culture of so much given to the temple. and everybody was so God conscious, right, that they would not hesitate to give anything they have for the deities. Whether it is land, whether it is jewelry, whether it is food, donation. And one of the prime qualities that people had, which enables them to do this, is their lack of proprietorship. Right? They never wanted to feel that they own anything in this world. They would just think that we are servants of Krishna, and everything belongs to Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwara. He is Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Everything belongs to him. So why should I keep anything to myself? I'll give what is bare minimal needed to my children, but remaining all belongs to Krishna. So they would give it to the temple. They would, while they earn itself, they would allocate some part of it to the temple, to the need, and they would make sure that enough is given so the deities are taken care. Like, for example, when people give Gaudan, right? You also give some money to maintain the cows, right? That is part of it. And actually, Shastra says 1 year or something you give, right? First of all, how many people are doing Gaudan these days? How many people are maintaining cows these days? It's a burden, right? People think it's a burden. Why should I do that? Krishna knows, etc. It's not something that is, abundantly seen in Kali Yuga, because the whole connection with God has gone. Connection with God has gone. And Krishna doesn't want our money. He wants connection. He wants us to revive our connection, right? Revival of connection is the purpose of spirituality, right? Yoga means to reconnect. So here you can see these two wonderful devotees, Shrutadeva and Bahulasva. Both of them are worshipping the deity of Krishna. That is the only service they did. And they would hear about Krishna wherever they would, great sages would come visit. They would sit down and hear about Krishna. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveta tattvataha. Right. So Janma karma. Whatever Krishna did, his appearance, his activities while he was here, they would just sit down and hear. And they would worship the deity. Then look at the greatness of Krishna. Two great things are happening here. One, Krishna is going to their home even though they have not formally sent an invitation. Right? Krishna remembered his devotees and is going to meet them in Mithila. Right? And another thing that is happening here is both their names are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Such simple devotees, right? See, Dhruva Maharaj did big tapasya. Prahlad Maharaj took so many austerities to survive, to see Narsingadev, right? And so many great devotees, Ambarish Maharaj, engaged all his senses, everything. Bali Maharaj gave away his own head, saying that, okay, all the planetary system belong to give it. So there were so many great acts of sacrifice being mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that very Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, 86th chapter, Krishna is meeting two simple devotees. Two simple devotees. Simple, they are not simple. For us, we have to learn what is simple. They are extraordinary for Krishna, but their extraordinariness comes because of their simple hearts. Simple hearts, right? So in this chapter, it is mentioned that Krishna was so happy with these two devotees and he was looking for an opportunity to go and meet Shrutadeva and Bahulasva. And in this verse, it is being mentioned about Shrutadeva, a Brahmana, who would just do as much as it is needed to maintain his life. And the remaining time is properly allocated to Krishna conscious activities. Such a beautiful explanation of Grahastha life. That we don't need to earn big flats. We don't need to earn big houses. If Krishna gives, use it in Krishna's service. That's a different thing. We are not against opulence. We are not against people making money. Come on, make money. make money, but use it in Krishna service. Right? Have a big house, but make it into a temple. Somebody comes to your house, you should feel that they have come to a temple. ఎలా అనిపించాలి? ఎవరైనా మీ ఇంటికి వస్తే ఎలా అనిపించాలి? ఎలా అనిపించాలి? ఒక గ్రేట్ ఇంటీరియర్ చేసిన ఇంటికి పోయినట్టు అనిపించాలా? ఎవరైనా భక్తుల ఇంటికి వెళ్తే వాళ్ళకి ఎలా అనిపించాలి? హరే కృష్ణ.
గుడికి వెళ్ళిన ఫీలింగ్ రావాలి ప్రభు.
గుడికి వెళ్ళిన రావాలి. గుడికి వెళ్ళిన ఫీలింగ్ రావాలి ఎవరైనా మన ఇంటికి వస్తే. ఎందుకంటే మనందరి ఇల్లు ఎవరిల్లు ఇవన్నీ? ప్రభుపాద ఇల్లు ఇవన్నీ. దిస్ ప్రాపర్టీ మే బి రిజిస్టర్డ్ ఇన్ యువర్ నేమ్, but when we have surrendered to Krishna, we have surrendered to Prabhupada, everything belongs to Prabhupada only. These are all Prabhupada's properties. We should be very, very careful in handling them. Right? ఇచ్చేసాం. మనం ఇప్పుడు ఇనిషియేషన్ తీసుకున్న వాళ్ళు లేదా ఇనిషియేషన్ తీసుకుందామని ఆలోచించే వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తారు గురు దగ్గరికి? మనస ఏమంటారు తెలుగులో?
మనస వాచా కర్మ.
మనస వాచా కర్మ. రైట్? మొత్తం ఇచ్చేయాలి. అంటే మనసు ఇచ్చేవంటే ఏంటి? మనసు వేటి మీద అవుతున్నదో అవి కూడా ఇచ్చేసినట్టే కదా. So everything we have given. So the house, this body, our money, our bank balance, our qualifications, our skills, everything is given to Krishna. Our wife, our children are given to Krishna. Husband, everybody is given to Krishna. Krishna here is that's what Bali Maharaj did, right? He just gave away everything. And that's what this great Brahmana is being explained in this verse. He used to do is he used to spend what time is needed to maintain his family. What time is needed to maintain his family. Devotees should not accumulate. At least devotees should not accumulate. Or at least they should not over endeavor to accumulate money. Here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that a devotee should not over endeavor to accumulate money. Because that means we don't have faith in Krishna, right? We don't have faith in Krishna. We only think that, okay, ఈ ప్లాట్ మా కొడుక్కి, ఈ ప్లాట్ నా బిడ్డకు, ఈ ఫ్లాట్ మా తల్లిదండ్రికి, ఈ ఫ్లాట్ వాళ్లకు, ఇది నాకు, వీళ్ళందరూ నన్ను వదిలేస్తే ఇది నాకు. రైట్? ఇలా ఆలోచించే వాళ్లకు భగవంతుడు లేనట్టే లెక్క వాళ్ళ జీవితంలో. People who think like that, this property is my son's, my daughter's, this is there and this is mine, in case, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna in that? Right? Bhogeshwarya prashaktanam taya aprita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadho na vidiyate. So the great, this verse basically says that people who are attracted to bhoga and aishwarya, for them vyavasayatmika buddhi will never come, meaning Krishna consciousness will never come. Samadho na vidiyate, it will not come. When Krishna gives opulence, accept it as a prasada for his service. When Krishna takes away anything, accept it as something that Krishna has taken back. It was never yours, it is not yours, and it will never be yours. Nothing in this world is yours. Recently we wrote that Bhakti Shastri exam, right? What is that Sanskrit line which says about everything belongs to Krishna, working in detachment? There was a Sanskrit line and we were writing translation to that in Karma Yoga, right? So that we should remember. And the greatness of these two devotees, Bahulasva was the king of Mithila, and he completely gave his kingdom in service of Krishna. Everything he would do, he would keep Krishna in the mind and he would do it. And Shrutadeva, the Brahmana, who was just a simple Brahmana, he did not have much to maintain himself. He did not have much. And he was also equally surrendered to Krishna. For Krishna, both of them are same. See, another thing that we have to learn from this story is the way Krishna treated both of them is same. So it so happened that these great sages, including Narada, Vyasa, great sages, they all came. And Krishna told, okay, I'm going to meet these devotees. Why don't you all also come with me? Why don't you also come with me? Natho Patrandi. I'm going to meet Bahulasva and Shrutadeva. You also come with me. And here it is being explained that all the sages also agreed. Yeah, we will also come. We want to see who these great devotees are. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahma, is going to meet them. Krishna is going to meet them. So we'll also come. So when they came to this kingdom, Mithila, Bhagavatam explains that Krishna wanted to please both of them. Both of them came and they fell at the feet of Krishna and they're looking at the great sages, the great devotees who Krishna brought. They looked at them. They were so excited to see so great devotees, and they fell at their feet. And Krishna was very happy looking at them falling at the feet of great devotees. And they were washing their feet and they were giving offerings. Krishna was very happy. In fact, there is a verse in this very chapter where Krishna says to Shrutadeva, he says that I am more pleased when you are pleasing my devotees. You might have direct access to me, but you will have much deeper access when you serve my devotees. When my devotees are pleased, you have even more direct access to me. Like that he says. So Krishna had two devotees. And they're both desperate to serve Krishna. So whom do you think Krishna will go first to? The king or the Brahmana? Whose house will Krishna go? Anybody? Will he go to the king's house or Brahmana's house?
Brahmana house.
Brahmana Prabhu.
Why? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Techa. That's why. See, Brahmana is not just by Varna. Brahmana is by his consciousness and heart. Even the king was equal to a Brahmana. Because he had no attachment. See, we should go by the qualities of Brahmana. The quality of Brahmana is somebody who is completely dependent on Krishna and never attached to anything except Krishna. And even the king was in the same way. Now look at Krishna. Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he simply expanded into two Krishnas. He just expanded two Krishnas. And at the same time, he went to Shrutadeva's house and also Bahulasva's house. Same time. And not only did he expand, he even divided all the sages who came with him into two. An amazing part that Bhagavatam explains is Shrutadeva felt that Krishna is coming to my house and Bahulasva is going to wait. And Bahulasva felt that Krishna is coming to my house and Shrutadeva is going to wait. Isn't it amazing? Krishna does everything so mystically. Can you tell me one more pastime where Krishna just expanded like that?
For his wives, Prabhu.
Huh?
His wives.
Yeah, for his wives, gopis, right? 16,000 gopis. He just expanded 16,000. He just became 16,000 husbands. And each one of the gopis thinking, how come Krishna is only with me? Remaining 15,999 are crying. Not that they were enjoying, to think that others are crying, but they felt special that Krishna is with them. Any other pastime where Krishna just expanded like that?
Brahma Vimohan Leela.
Yes, Brahma Vimohan Leela. This energy of Krishna, where he expands into many, is explained as Vaibhava Prakasha energy. Vaibhava Prakasha, which only Krishna can do. Vaibhava Prakasha. Simply he just expands like that. And he is equal in each one of them. It's not like, there is one Krishna who is original and remaining are not original. He's equal. He's equally the same Krishna in each one of his expansions. Highly inconceivable. Brahma literally scratched his foreheads. What is going on? How can somebody do this? It's not doable by any living entity. It has to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he kept all his heads down on the floor, asking for forgiveness for the test he tried to do to Krishna in Brahma Vimohan Leela. Right? Even now, his heads are on the floor. He wants to keep it in Barsana, where the 4 hills on which Radharani's temples are there, Brahma's heads. Right? So Krishna expanded. And then he goes to Bahulaswa's palace, right? And Bahulaswa makes so many arrangements. He's personally coming and cleaning the feet of all the Brahmanas and Krishna and inviting them inside. And he's so excited that it is not only Krishna who has come, Krishna has brought his devotees also. See, how much confidence will we have to take somebody to your friend's house if you're not sure whether the friend will treat them properly or not? We will never take, right? We will never go to a stranger's house along with people, important people, right? We'll never do that. But Krishna does that because Krishna knows about his devotees' heart. Krishna knows his devotees serve his devotees. His devotees serve his devotees. Dasa, 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 dasanu das. Krishna is very excited. So he takes all the great rishis with him into the house of Shrutadeva, into the house of Bahulaswa. And let us start with Bahulaswa. So Bahulaswa goes, and Bahulaswa is very happy. And he makes all great arrangements. Palace is all decorated, right? Flowers, so many flowers are there, decorate all the windows, doors, everything, altars, everything is decorated. Swayam Krishna, the very Krishna he used to worship as a deity, has walked into his house in the personal form. What can be more important for him? It's the greatest thing. And then Bahulaswa is thinking, oh my God, how long will Krishna stay? See, that's the greatest of devotion, right? Krishna is right there. Krishna is right in front of Bahulaswa, and Bahulaswa is thinking, he's already in separation of Krishna, that Krishna is going to leave. This bhava comes from Srimati Radharani. Every bhava of love, of devotion comes from Srimati Radharani. There is a picture of Seva Kunj. If you see, there is a picture of Seva Kunj, where Lord Krishna and Radharani are sitting, and there are little gopis hiding in the bushes. How many have seen that picture? There is a beautiful painting.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have seen.
Radha and Krishna, right? Radha and Krishna. Krishna is looking at Radharani, Radharani is looking at Krishna, and all gopis are hidden, somewhere in the bushes trying to see them. And one of the amazing thing in that picture is both Krishna and Radharani are crying. Both Krishna is crying, Radharani is also crying. Crying in happiness and in separation. Bhagavatam explains, great Acharya explains, the love between Krishna and Radharani is so intimate and so pure that even when they are with each other, they would feel the separation of each other. See, when the important person comes to you, you're happy. But when the important person comes to you, you're also worried that that person will leave. Right? So even in his presence, you're feeling the separation. That is the greatness of that love. And here Bahulaswa is, glimpse of that same Srimati Radharani's bhava, love for Krishna, comes into his devotees also, into her devotees. So all the love that we want to love Krishna is coming from Srimati Radharani. So here it is explained that Bahulaswa is thinking, how should I make Krishna stay with me for more days? How should I? Right? As soon as Krishna came, he's not only thinking about that day, he's thinking about future. So he goes and requests Lord Krishna, can you please stay for some more days in my house? Can you give me an opportunity to serve you? Right? Similar thing happens even with Shrutadeva. When Krishna goes to Shrutadeva's house, now it's not just Krishna, right? Krishna is going with many devotees. He's going with some great devotees. And Shrutadeva, his house is a simple house. He and his wife, I don't know about children. Bhagavatam doesn't mention about it, but he might have children, I don't know. But they would have a limited house. And they would have limited mats. It is explained that Shrutadeva actually ran to his neighbors' houses to get mats. He ran to his neighbor's house. Okay. Can you give okay? Wonder chapa. ఒక చాపిస్తారా కృష్ణుడు వచ్చాడు, ఒక చాపిస్తారా నారదుడు వచ్చాడు, ఒక చాపిస్తారా వ్యాసుడు వచ్చాడు, చాపిస్తారు. So he actually went and got mats and he kept them all and cleaned the house and kept all the mats decorated with whatever little he could, and he could make food arrangements, prasadam, for whatever that he could. And then he also asked Krishna, can you stay with your devotees for a few more days? Right? So this is the heart of a devotee, right? And Krishna said, yes, I will stay. I will stay. Just imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so easily accessible by his devotees. It's inconceivable, actually. Only his devotees can ask him and get what they want. And Krishna is his devotees, and devotees are Krishna's, right? So he just simply asked Krishna, can you stay? He stayed. He just stayed. He didn't say, oh, I have appointments in Dwaraka, I think my calendar is filled. Oh, I think Brahma is going to come to me, some universal issue is there I have to sort out. that all Vishnu will take care. For that, Narayan and Vishnu are there. They'll take care of all those GBC issues. Right? GBC means Govardhan, books and cows. Anyway, so Krishna is absolutely available for his devotees. This pastime tells us it's a simple pastime, and you can read the whole pastime. I will just read the translations. Okay, it will take like 5-10 minutes. We'll just read the translations, and then we'll see, what else we have to learn out of it, right? So let me go here. Yes, chapter 86. I'll just read the translations. Yes. Yeah. See, among the sages, who were among the sages? Among the sages were Narada, Vamadeva, Atri, Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, Parashurama, Asita, Aruni, and myself. Right? Myself is who? Sukadeva Goswami. Right? Brahaspati, Kanva, Maitreya, and Shyavana. Right? These are the great sages, right? Now, let us go, right? Verse number 19. In every city and town, Lord passed along the way. O king, the people came forward to worship him with offerings of arghya water in their hands, as if to worship the rising sun surrounded by planets. Who are the planets here?
Sages.
Sages, the devotees. Like devotees are all planets, and sun is in the center, and sun is Krishna. That is being compared, right? The men and women of Anartha, Danva, Kuru, Jangala, Kanaka, Matsya, Panchala, Kunti, Madhu, Kekaya, Koshala, Arna, and many other kingdoms drank with their eyes the nectarian beauty of Lord Krishna's lotus-like face, which are graced by generous smiles and affectionate glances. Right? Now he is saying when everybody could get darshan of Krishna. Now question, one of the questions that is discussed here, Jiva Goswami says the question and Jiva Goswami also gives the answer. Right? Let us go to this verse and read it. Right? Yes, if I'm right. No, not this verse, but I think the next verse Jiva Goswami discusses. Yes. So simply by glancing at those who came to him, Lord Krishna, the spiritual master of the three worlds, delivered them from the blindness of materialism. So just by looking at Krishna, their entire attraction towards material things went away. And as he thus bestowed them with the fearlessness and divine vision, he heard demigods and men singing his glories, which purify the entire universe and destroy all misfortune. Gradually he reached Vaideha. So he was going through these kingdoms as he was going to, and all this Panchala kingdom, everybody was looking at him. Now Jiva Goswami asks basically, how can Krishna, how could they see Krishna? And what is the speciality of these people? That they could see Krishna and lose their attraction on material things. Krishna gave them this darshan. So let's read this purport. It's a nice small purport. Srila Jiva Goswami raised the logical question of how the ordinary people along the path could even see the Lord, since not only were their eyes covered by ignorance, but the Lord's chariot was traveling faster than the wind. So Lord was going faster than the wind from all these places, and they are all ignorant people. They were not devotees, most of them, on the way. Supplying the answer, Srila Jiva Goswami indicates that Lord Krishna's special glance of mercy empowered every one of them with devotional purity required for entering into his association. So it is Krishna who gives that qualification for anyone to see him. So don't try to go and see God. At least Vaishnavas, we should not try to see God. Because God is not something that we can see at our will. God is somebody who is great, and he would bestow us the opportunity to see him. Okay. Otherwise, he would have remained outside the scope of their power to see. As he himself states in his instruction to Uddhava, Bhaktyaham ekaya grahya. I can be perceived only by devotion. Bhagavatam 11, 14, 21. By the grammatical rule of the compound formation known as ekashesha, the term stha vikshana vinasya tamishra dribhagya, although in his primary sense inflected as a masculine noun, may be understood in this context as referring to both men and women. Right? Now you should understand that Krishna is giving that opportunity to see him. Right? Krishna is giving that opportunity to see him. See him to everybody on the way. Simply by glancing at this. Hearing that Lord Achyuta had arrived, O king, the residents and cities of the villages of Vaideha joyfully came forth to receive him with offering in their hands. As soon as people saw Lord Uttama Shloka, their faces and hearts blossomed with affection. Joining their palms above their heads, they bowed down to the Lord and the sages accompanying him, whom they had previously only heard about. Both the king of Mithila, who is who? Bahulasva. Both Bahulasva and Shrutadeva fell at the Lord's feet, each thinking that the spiritual master of the universe had come there just to show him mercy. At exactly the same time, King Mithila and Shrutadeva each went forward with joint palms and invited the Lord's darshan to be his guest, along with Brahmana sages. Wanting to please them both, the Lord accepted both their invitations. Thus he simultaneously went to both homes, and neither could see him entering into other's house. See, he just expanded and then went. Now let's see what Bahulasva did. When King Bahulasva, a descendant of Janaka, saw Lord Krishna approaching his house from a distance with the sages, who were somewhat fatigued from the journey, he immediately arranged to have seats of honor brought out for them. After they were all comfortably seated, the wise king, in his heart overflowing with joy and his eyes clouded by tears, bowed down to them and washed their feet with intense devotion. Taking the washed water, which could purify the entire world, he sprinkled it on his head and the heads of his family members. Then he worshipped all those great lords by offering them fragrant sandalwood paste, flower garlands, fine clothing, and ornaments, incense, lamps, argya, and cows and bulls. Cows and bulls. So everybody, had cows, and king was famous for giving away cows and bulls. Hare Krishna. Text 30. When they had eaten to their full satisfaction, for their further pleasure, the king began to speak slowly and in a gentle voice as he held Lord Vishnu's feet in his lap and happily massaged them. King kept his lotus feet. Lord's feet he could hold and he could massage. Shri Bahulashva said, O Almighty Lord, you are the soul of all created beings, their self-illuminated witness, and now you are giving your audience to us who constantly meditate on your lotus feet. you have said, neither Ananta, goddess Shri, nor unborn Brahma is dearer to me than my unalloyed devotee. Bhaulaswa is saying, you have told like that your devotees are more important to you than even Lakshmi Devi or Brahma. Right? To prove your own words true, you have now revealed yourself to our eyes. Right? He's saying, what person who knows this truth would ever abandon your lotus feet when you are ready to give your very self to peaceful sages who call nothing their own? Right? So we should never leave Krishna, because who can be more merciful than Krishna? Where he's ready to give away everything to give us darshan, to give when we become devotees, when we develop the devotion, then Krishna is definitely going to come. Of this, there should not be any doubt. Right? This chapter should give us the confidence that at the time of death, we all will see Krishna, if we are sincere in our devotion. Krishna will appear. So, appearing in the Yadu dynasty, you have spread your glories, which can remove all the sins of the three worlds, just to deliver those entrapped in the cycle of birth and death. Hari Bol, right? Obeisances to you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, whose intelligence is ever unrestricted. Obeisances to sage Naranarayana, who always undergoes austerities in perfect peace. Right? So he is praising Krishna, Bahulasva, the king of Mithila. Please stay for a few days in our house. See, now he is asking. Please stay for a few days in our house along with these Brahmanas. Oh, all-pervading one, and with the dust of your feet, sanctify this dynasty of Nimi. Please sanctify this whole kingdom just by staying. Whose lotus feet? Krishna and his devotees. Mind you, here, because the Supreme Lord has come, Bhaulasva is not demeaning or not giving Brahmanas the first priority. He's equally giving the priority, and that is why Krishna likes. That is what Krishna likes to see. Sukadeva Goswami continued, thus invited by the king, the Supreme Lord, sustainer of the world, consented to stay for some time to bestow good fortune on men and women of Mithila. So he actually agreed to stay. Shrutadeva, now this was about Bahulasva. Now we are reading about Shrutadeva. Shrutadeva received Lord Achyuta into his home with as much enthusiasm as that was shown by King Bahulasva. After bowing down to the Lord and the sages, Shrutadeva began to dance with great joy, waving his shawl. Like this, he ordered his shawl. Hey, Haribol, Krishna has come. Something like that. Right? That is the simplicity. The simplicity of Krishna. Right? Simplicity of devotees. Sorry. Yes. After bringing mats of grass and darbar straw and seating his guests upon them, he greeted them with words of welcome. Then he and his wife washed their feet with great pleasure. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says those mats were not there in their house, they actually brought from outside, from the neighbors. With the wash water, the virtuous Shrutadeva captiously sprinkled himself, his house, and his family. Overjoyed, he felt that all his desires have now been fulfilled. So devotees are completely happy. As soon as they see Krishna, oh yeah, there is no more planning, nothing. Krishna, I'm done. This life is done. He worshipped them with offerings of auspicious items easily available to him, such as fruits, usira root, pure nectarian water, fragrant clay, tulsi leaves, kusha grass, and lotus flowers. And then he offered them food that increases the mode of goodness. He wondered, how is it that I, fallen into the blind well of family life, have been able to meet Lord Krishna? See, look at his humility. See, I'm a family. I'm into so many things. Knowingly, unknowingly, I do so many material transactions. Still, Krishna has come to my home. Huh? And how have I also been allowed to meet the great Brahmanas who always carry the Lord within their hearts? Indeed, the dust of their feet is a shelter of all holy places. When his guests were seated comfortably, having each received a proper welcome, Shrutadeva approached them and sat down nearby with his wife, children. Yeah, children are mentioned. Sorry, I didn't read it properly earlier. Wife, children, and other dependents. Then, while massaging the Lord's feet, he addressed Krishna and the sages. So he is also massaging Lord's feet. How many here, Prabhuji and Madhi, want to massage Lord's feet? Huh? What a great fortune. Shrutadeva said, it is not that we have attained the audience of the Supreme Person only today, for we have in fact been associating with him ever since he created this universe with his energies and then entered in it in his transcendental form. So he's saying we are experiencing Krishna in everything. Not that we have seen him only today. A devotee can see Krishna in everything. Right? This verse proves again. In everything he can see Krishna, and everything is auspicious for a devotee. The Lord is like a sleeping person who creates a separate world in his imagination and then enters his own dream and sees himself within it. He's giving an analogy, saying that just like we dream and we enter into the dream, Lord also creates his universe and enters. See, for Lord, it is a dream. It's not for a dream for us. It's actually material world is real, but it's temporary. Right? You reveal yourself within the hearts of those persons of pure consciousness who constantly hear about you, chant about you, worship you, glorify you, and converse with one another about you. So whose hearts Krishna goes, Prabhuji and Mataji's? Please repeat after me. Who constantly hear about you,
Who constantly hear about you,
chant about you,
Chant about you,
worship you,
worship you,
glorify you,
glorify you,
and converse with one another about you.
and converse with one another about you.
So that's what we do in satsangs, right? Do we do that in satsangs?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But although you reside within the heart, you are very far away from those whose minds are disturbed by their entanglement in material work. Indeed, one who can grasp you by his material powers, for you reveal yourself only in the hearts of those who have learned to appreciate your transcendental qualities. So unless we become conscious of Krishna, Krishna will not appear to us. And what is it, Krishna? What does it mean to be conscious of Krishna? To understand his qualities. Janma, karma, chame, divyam. Everything is divyam. Everything is not material. Everything that Krishna does is purest and transcendental. Right? That we should understand. Let me offer my obeisance unto you. You are realized as the Supreme Soul by those who know the absolute truth, whereas in your form of time, you impose death upon the forgotten souls. You appear both in your causeless spiritual form and in the created form of this universe, thus simultaneously uncovering the eyes of your devotees and obstructing the vision of the non-devotees. He does. See, people don't know Krishna or they don't like Krishna not because they have any power to do so. Even that power is given by Krishna only. He only. Okay, I'll just mute somebody who is. Yeah. Krishna only hides himself. That's why people can't see. And Krishna only reveals himself. That's why people can see. Right. So when you see somebody who is not Krishna conscious, what should you pray? What should you pray?
That the covering is removed so that they can see Krishna.
Please uncover your, whatever covering you have kept, so they can see you. That's all you can pray. Everything is in Krishna's hands only. Right? Okay. Oh Lord, you are that Supreme Soul, and we are your servants. How shall we serve you? My Lord, simply seeing you puts an end to all troubles of human life. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, after hearing Shrutadeva speak these words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who revives his surrendered, who relieves his surrendered devotee's distress, took Shrutadeva's hand in his own and smilingly spoke to him as follows. So just imagine so affectionately, Krishna is keeping his hand in his hand, devotee's hand, and he's saying, what is he saying? The Supreme Lord said, my dear Brahmana, you should know that these great sages have come here just to bless you. They travel throughout the world with me, purifying them with the dust of their feet. Right now, Krishna is praising whom? He is again praising his devotees. That just understand, they have come here just to bless you. One can gradually become purified by seeing, touching, and worshipping temple deities. So please, this is a very, very important verse. Why don't we read this verse? Yeah, I think we should read this verse. Yeah. Let's try to read this verse. Haribol. Deva kshetrani tirthani.
Deva kshetrani tirthani.
Deva kshetrani tirthani.
Deva
క్షేత్రాణి
Darshana sparshana rachani.
దర్శన స్పర్శనార్చని
Darshana sparshana rachani.
దర్శన స్పర్శనార్చని
Tanai punanti kalena. Tanai punanti kalena. Tad api arhatam kshaya. Tad api arhatame kshaya. Translation. One can gradually become purified
One can gradually become purified
by seeing, touching, and worshipping temple deities.
and worshipping temple deities,
Places of pilgrimage
places of pilgrimage,
and holy rivers.
and holy rivers.
But one can attain
But one can attain
the same result
same result
immediately
immediately,
simply by receiving
simply by receiving
the glance of the exalted sages.
the glance of exalted sages.
Amazing verse, right? It's an amazing verse, isn't it? And who is telling this, by the way?
Lord himself.
Swayam Krishna. This is equal to Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna has spoken. This also Krishna is only speaking. He's saying, Arey Baba, you are running to holy places, Char Dham, Ye Dham, Wo Dham. You are going to temples, you are attracted to temple deities, you are doing all. That's great. You will make gradual progress. But if you please my devotee, what does it mean to get a glance? Glance means if you please my devotee and he looks at you with merciful eyes. Right? Looks at you with merciful eyes. If a devotee is pleased, Prabhuji and Matajis, our life is successful. Yeah, just muting some of. Yeah. So if a devotee is pleased, see, a lot of people should not misunderstand this word called glance of exalted devotees. Means what? Just go, Haribol, Haribol. Okay, you looked at me, I looked at you. Okay, done. You looked at me, that's enough. Or wherever there is a sadhu, just run around and just stay there. Or if there is a sadhu, go and fold his feet. There is a sadhu, go and, that and all is okay. But that will not get you the glance that Lord Krishna is speaking here. Lord Krishna is speaking about the glance of love, glance of blessing. That comes when you serve devotees and Supreme Lord. When you serve devotees and Supreme Lord, the great sages, again, devotees will bless you. Meaning how? We want, how many here want the blessings of Prabhupada? Right? We all want blessings of Prabhupada, isn't it? So how do you think you can get blessings of Prabhupada? Going by this verse, how do you think you will get blessings of Prabhupada?
By pleasing him and following the instructions.
Okay. Something more powerful than that. Look at this verse.
Worshipping the deities.
Yes. But there is gradual progress.
Serving devotees, Prabhuji.
Serving devotees, that's it. That's the point. We have to serve the devotees. We can go to places of pilgrimage, we can go to holy rivers, we can go to temple deities, even worship the temple deities. You can do a lot of things, but ultimately, you will receive the merciful glance of Prabhupada when you serve his devotees, when you serve his disciples. There are great sannyasi disciples of Prabhupada today on this planet, still. And there are great grand disciples also. Right? ISKCON has how many sannyasis? Maybe 200? I don't know. Maybe 150? Among them, initiating gurus are like 20. I'm just speculating numbers. Guess. So how do you please Prabhupada? When you serve his 200 sannyasis, right? When you go and serve them and help them serve Prabhupada, automatically Prabhupada is pleased and the merciful glance will come. You want to please your guru? Please everyone that he is trying to please. Who do you think your guru is trying to please? Krishna and
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada and Prabhupada disciples. See the mood, Prabhuji and Madhya, the other day, I was speaking to some of the devotees in ISKCON, and I told I'll bring my god brothers. I told him that okay, I'll also bring my god brothers, and he felt that I'm going to bring like my Guru Maharaj is Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So he felt that god brothers is a term applicable only for the disciples of Radhanath Swami Maharaj. When I say god brothers, then I corrected him. No. I didn't mean Radhanath Swami Maharaj disciples. I meant god brothers. Who are our god brothers? All the disciples of all the sannyasis. Whether it is Jayapataka Maharaj, whether it is Rompad Maharaj, whether it is Gopal Krishna Maharaj, whether it is Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, we are all god brothers. And who do you think is pleased if we serve any one of them? Prabhupada. Right? When we serve any one of them, is Prabhupada. We should understand the essence of service. Is serve the Vaishnavas. Not the Vaishnavas who are, who are your gurus, your god brothers, or give more importance to them or less importance to another. No, that mentality itself means that you have not understood the essence of service. Is that we have to serve all the devotees. Because all the devotees are serving Prabhupada. All the devotees are serving Prabhupada. Right? And Prabhupada is serving his guru. And all the great gurus in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Right? Tomorrow, if some other Vaishnava Sampradaya guru comes in your locality and there is a service opportunity, will we think that no, I think in a different Sampradaya, or we'll just go and serve? We'll serve. We'll serve. It's not like we are choosy about whom to serve. We will serve Vaishnavas because that is what pleases Krishna. That is what pleases Krishna. Right? So let's read the purport. Rather than remaining in seclusion and concentrating on their own perfection, Vaishnava Brahmanas of the highest order dedicate their lives to sharing benediction of the Lord's devotional service. In other words, the son of King Prachina Barhi. Dear Lord, your personal associates, your devotees wander all over the world to purify even the holy place of pilgrimage. Is not such activity pleasing to those who are actually afraid of material existence? And Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord Narasimhadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance, not caring for the big cities and towns. They go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Maunavrata. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone. Leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter to your lotus feet. Look at the mood of Prahlad. So who is a great sage? The one you see in Himalayas or the one you see in Hyderabad? Both are, depends on what they are doing. Right? The great sages are the ones who are eager to purify others and take them back home, back to Godhead. Not themselves sitting in some ashram in in a corner somewhere near, what is that place in Uttarakhand, famous for trekking and lot of ashrams.
Haridwar, Rishikesh.
Haridwar, Rishikesh. Right? Oh, my guru is sitting in Rishikesh. He is meditating all the time. Whenever he meditates, he lifts himself 5 inches high. That's okay, but the rest of the sages are like sages of Prabhupada, like sages like Prabhupada, who took the holy place with them wherever they went. Right? So Prabhupada and Mataji, this once again clarifies that we should not think of just settling down in a holy place. That's not the point. We should bring the holy place to every place. That is the point. We should bring the sages to every place. That is the point. We should create facilities. We should create facilities for great sages to come to even Gachibowli, even Madhapur, even this side of the city. Great sages should come here. Right? We should create the facility. That is a greater service. That will please Krishna more than you buying a house somewhere in Mayapur or Vrindavan or those places and say that I am sitting there and chanting 64 rounds. No, that is still selfish. Prahlad Maharaj is saying these sages don't care about the cities and towns. They just go and sit in Himalayas. But I want to do that. I would not go alone. See, one great devotee in ISKCON told, there is no doubt if a Krishna conscious devotee, if ISKCON devotee will go back to Godhead. There is no doubt. The only question is, how many is taking with him? How many is taking with him? That is the only question. Whether he is going or not, there is no doubt. Because they have dedicated their lives. Being a Grahastha, Sannyasi, Brahmachari doesn't matter. They just dedicated their lives. And we are going back, and only question is how many are taking with you. Right? So, of course, implement for the self and preach others. Preach others, practice yourself and inspire others. Right? We should say it's a lifelong journey of struggle. It's not that we start delivering people or who are we to deliver? Prabhupada only has to deliver. So here, this is being spoken. Let us finish this chapter. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Supreme Lord is speaking here. Some very, very nice verses. Right? So here is saying, my dear Brahmana, you should know that these great sages have come here just to bless you. They travel throughout the world with me, purifying them with the dust of their feet. One can gradually become purified by seeing, touching, and worshipping temple deities, places of pilgrimage, and holy rivers. But one can attain the same results immediately, simply by receiving the glance of exalted sages. By his very birth, a Brahmana is the best of all living beings in this world, and he becomes even more exalted when he is endowed with austerity, learning, and self-satisfaction, what to speak of devotion to me. Right? Even my own four-armed form is no dearer to me. Look at the statement of Krishna, glorifying the Brahmanas, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Even my own four-armed form is no dearer to me than a Brahmana. Within himself, a learned Brahmana comprises of all Vedas, just as within myself I comprise of all demigods. Hare Krishna. What a statement. Right? Here, Lord Krishna is telling that just like I have all Devatas inside me, a Brahmana carries all Vedas with him. So he is more dearer to me than my own 400 form. Right? Prabhuji and Mataji, how does Krishna reconnect with his devotees? Who is the via medium? Who is the via medium? How does Krishna enter into our hearts? Who is the via medium?
Gurus, Prabhuji.
Gurus, Brahmanas. Vaishnavas are Brahmanas by default. Right? So here Lord Krishna is saying these Brahmanas are very dear to me because they carry the Vedic knowledge, and through the Vedic knowledge, through the mercy of these Brahmanas, they would understand the essence of Vedic knowledge and explain that to the common people. That is why Brahmanas are very dear to Krishna. When we say Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya, Gau Brahmanaya Tacha, Jagaditaya Krishna, Goindaya Namo. What is the prominence of Brahmanas? Brahmanas are the people who should distribute Brahma Gyan. What the world needs today? What the world needs today? World needs Brahmanas. Brahma Gyanam ichevade Brahmanudu. Janjam veskoni Infosys lo Wipro lo kuchunte Brahmanudu kadu. Just sitting in some company or a business, wearing Brahmanas and wearing this shikha and saying, "Me Brahman lo andi." Em Brahman? Etla Brahman cheppandi. Vedalu vacha ravu. Dani saram vacha telvadu. So Brahmanas are the people, are the great people whom Krishna loves because they carry Vedas. Vedas is sarver aham Veda. They explain that Krishna is the essence of all Vedas, and that's what Brahmanas do. ISKCON is an organization set up by Prabhupada to create Brahmanas. To start with, Prabhupada also had a plan to create other Varnas, or rather re-establish the purest form of other Varnas. But he started with Brahmana Varna. Sometimes people complain, in ISKCON you push everybody to become highest standard, highest. That's because we are wanting to create Brahmanas in this society who are actually going to distribute the spiritual knowledge. See, Prabhuji and Mataji, all of you who are attending this call, you should also conduct these calls. Become the Brahmanas that Krishna likes. Krishna likes Brahmanas, right? In this verse, Krishna is telling he likes Brahmanas. Huh? Shrutadeva, he likes the Brahmana. Why? And he's saying these Brahmanas carry me. And you are more, and Brahmana is more dearer than whom? His own four-handed form, Vishnu. Krishna is saying he is more dearer than my own four-handed form. Just imagine the amount of importance he is giving to Brahmanas. And today, if this country creates more Brahmanas, when I say Brahmana, don't go by that caste Brahmana or Smartha Brahmana kind of thinking. A person who distributes spiritual knowledge is a Brahmana. A person who takes Krishna to every house is a Brahmana. Right? A person who serves his Guru, making it his life and soul, is a Brahmana. Become that Brahmana. We all should become that Brahmana. And then Krishna will definitely like us. See that verse, right? Isn't it very clear that Krishna will like us? He will certainly like us. Right? Even my own four-armed form, Krishna is telling, even my own four-armed form is no nearer to me than a Brahmana. Within himself, a learned Brahmana comprises all the Vedas. Just within myself, I comprise all the demigods. Ignorant of this truth, foolish people neglect and enviously offend a learned Brahmana who, being non-different from me, in his spiritual is their spiritual master and very self. They consider worshipable only such obvious manifestations of divinity of my deity form. Krishna is telling, just see, you think that by worshipping me you'll get more purified. My deity form you'll worship and become more purified. Are Baba, you'll become more purified by worshipping the Brahmanas. They are expanded forms. They are me only. Krishna is telling so clearly. He's talking about devotees here. Right? Therefore, you should worship these Brahmana sages, O Brahmana, with the same faith you have in me. If you do so, you will worship me directly. which you cannot do otherwise, even with offerings of vast riches. Hare Krishna. What an instruction Krishna is giving here. He's saying that even though you might offer me so many things, chappan bhog, 200 items, whatever, but if you worship my devotees, my Brahmanas, you will actually worship it directly. He's telling you will worship it directly. See the words. You will worship me directly, which you cannot do otherwise. In no other way. So what is the direct way of worshipping Krishna? Prabhuji and Mataji? What is the direct way of worshipping Krishna? You should be clear on this. Yeah, this is so clear. You should worship Brahmana sages. And this is, you will worship me directly. See this verse. Which you cannot do otherwise. So, what is the difference between a Kanisha and a Madhyama? This is the difference. Kanisha goes to temple to see God. Madhyama sees God in every devotee. And it treats devotees also equally important as deity. Isn't it? We all read this, right? Right? So that is very important. Brothers and Matajis, if there is a sadhu in your locality is giving a lecture, there is nothing more important than going and hearing it. If there is opportunity to serve a sadhu, there is nothing more important than doing it. Because Krishna himself is speaking these verses. Now we'll end this chapter. Sri Sukha said, so instructed by his Lord, with single-minded devotion, Shrutadeva worshipped Sri Krishna, and the topmost Brahmanas accompanying him, and King Bahulasva did the same. Thus both Shrutadeva and king attained the ultimate transcendental destination. O king, thus the personality of Godhead, who is devoted to his own devotees, stayed for some time with his two great devotees, Shrutadeva and Bahulasva, leaving them the behavior of perfect saints, teaching them the behavior of perfect saints. Then the Lord returned to Dwaraka. Hare Krishna. Right? That ends the chapter. That ends the chapter of Shrutadeva. And actually, this chapter has two Leelas. One is the first Leela of Arjuna marrying Subhadra, followed by the Lord's meeting with Shrutadeva and Bahulasva. Okay. So now I humbly request everyone to open their cameras. So we'll quickly have a little Q&A and we'll call it a day. If possible, because at least we'll feel that we are together in a satsang. Corona as it is made us, Corona made us, what do you call it, quarantined. Now let's not make us even more quarantined by not appearing in front of each other. At least this much we can do. Right? You must be tired looking at my face. You can look at all the devotees' faces. So many are here. Yeah, just click on that box and you can see everybody. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so any questions, brothers and Matajis? And any reflections? What did you feel with the story in Bhagavatam? Come on, share what comes to your heart first.
Prabhuji, you said that any other association also, we should respect them, right? So yeah, we should respect them, but we should not listen to them, right? Like other, so many satsangas are there, different. They are not following like Brahma Kumari and others. So we can respect them, but we should not mingle with them. If they call us, okay, come for this satsang or this program.
Brahma Kumari is not a Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Yeah, but sometimes they are. But they are Vaishnava, Prabhuji. They come under Vaishnava.
No, they don't come under Vaishnava.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are self-created cult. They don't even read Bhagavad-Gita. Forget it. Its agenda is not to talk about them, but we should respect them. We should respect them, meaning we should give them, good association and good. We should give them, but don't take that association. That's very dangerous.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And when I said that we should respect all other Vaishnava Sampradayas, I'm talking about Vaishnava Sampradayas, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, right, Rudra Sampradaya, all these great Sampradayas there in North India, South India, many great temples are there. And when the Guru is speaking from another Sampradaya, we should sit down and listen. It's not like, we're only here to Prabhupada. We should sit down and listen. But we should come and clarify our doubts with our Guru.
Okay, Prabhuji.
We should listen. Like, for example, when great sannyasi is speaking in Kumara Sampradaya, it's not like, oh no, Kumara, we should not listen, we should only serve them. Unko prasad deke bhago. No, aisa nahi. We should sit down, we should listen to them. There's nothing wrong. And then if you have a doubt where you feel that there is some deviation or something is not deviation is not the right word, where you feel that the mood is a little different or the explanation is a little different, you can come back. You should come back to your Siksha Guru or your Diksha Guru if you have access and ask them and clarify. Maharaj, like this sannyasi, what do you feel? How should I understand this? How should I apply this? There is a mood.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. Any other reflections from Shrutadeva and Baulasma? How many of you want Krishna in your house? And you want Krishna to stay in your house? Huh? Amit Prabhu is telling, Kiran Prabhu is telling, Abhi, Aji Bulana. Subbarao Prabhu. Haribol, yes. And the simplest and the easiest way is be sincere to what we are doing. And be appreciative of what others are doing. Be appreciative of what others are doing. Come on, any reflections? Was today's story good? History?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
What touched you the most? Ramreddy Prabhu, what touched you the most?
Yeah. Sorry, Prabhuji, if I say anything wrong, with your permission, all I say is, Prabhuji, at least this is my feeling so far, like whatever the deities we have at home, when we were doing it, it's more like we were thinking I can progress more in spiritual life if I start at home. But with this today's verse, I came to know, like, yeah, with deity worship also, you can bring Krishna to your home.
Haribol.
So that is,
Yes. Yes.
I didn't think that much power we have, Prabhuji, in the deity worship. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's all.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Yes. Any other point that you could remember? Important point. If you have to put like top 5 important points that we could learn from today.
Prabhuji, this is the first time I'm hearing this story of Krishna going to devotee's house, and that tells me and then reiterates that if you are sincere in your devotion, he will come to you.
Yes, very well, very well. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. One takeaway for me is the topmost priority for all the Vaishnavas should be the serving the Brahmanas and the devotees who are dedicated their life to the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kiran Prabhu. Yes. Topmost priority. Serve the devotees. Serve the devotees. Serve all disciples of Prabhupada we should serve. And we should also serve all the great Vaishnava Acharyas. We should serve the local temple, whatever is there near your house. Go there, help them. That is also service. Don't think that, we are ISKCON, only ISKCON temples. No. We are here trained to serve Vaishnavas. Right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, day-to-day life, how we can serve the devotees and Vaishnavas, Prabhuji?
In day-to-day life, Mataji, how we can... Oh, Usha Mataji, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.
Dandavad.
Yeah. So, Mataji, day-to-day life, how can we serve Vaishnavas and Guru? First of all, we should read what they have given. That itself is a big service. At least some time in a day, we should allocate and read, what Prabhupada has given, Vaishnava Acharya has given. That's also a service. And second, if we can help in distributing what they have given to others, either by we only speaking it or helping somebody who is speaking it. That's also a great service. Like every year, all of us distribute Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Right? We distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. We should continue that. Every year, from your house, one Srimad Bhagavatam should go to a temple. One new temple, one new Brahmana. That is also a service. Right? And you can take up some service in the local temple if you are close to a temple. Fortunately, in India, we still have temples almost in every colony. So we can go take up some small service there. You can read Bhagavad-Gita in that temple. Right? Like Prasad Prabhu and his wife are doing. They're going and reading. They're not telling their guru or anything. Just sitting down and reading in the temple. Or help somebody who is reading. Conduct satsangs in your home. That's a great service. You should invite Vaishnavas more often. One day in a week should be for serving completely. Let it be a Sunday or a Saturday. Okay, one day is difficult. Okay, one part of a day. Evening, I'll give it, my house belongs to inviting. Oh, Prabhuji, nobody will come. Somebody will come. Start it. Start it. 2-3 people will come. 2-3 people will come, sit down and read Bhagavad Gita together. Ye to kar sakte hai na? Your neighbor will come. Or if nobody comes, you and your wife sit down and read Bhagavad Gita. All problems in the house will be gone. Right? So, yeah, there are many ways to serve.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. You can cook prasadam, you can cook bhoga wherever satsang is going on. That you can do. A lot of things are there. Yes. Anybody else? And what are the things that what are the takeaways today? We'll wrap up. It's already 9 o'clock. Yeah. So serving devotees is the greatest. So I'll just try to recap. Serving devotees is the greatest. That Krishna is pleased. Devotees, including Brahmanas. Very, very clear. And, serving, whatever service you do, do it sincerely. So Krishna is pleased. Right? And just by being sincere in our service, Krishna will also come to our home. There is a clear hope given today. Right? Even littlest of the service. And respecting all the Brahmanas, sages equally as Krishna. Right? And respecting all sampradayas and all great sages. More important than going to holy places and worshipping the temple deities is worshipping the great sages. That also we learn today. Right? So I humbly request everyone to please read the chapter when you get time. Today I just went through the chapter fastly. There are many more things to learn. And I'm very grateful for each one of you who has joined. I'm sure there are few of you who are conducting satsangs and you have a class starting in another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you can log off. And, we are also logging off now. So let your Sunday be, like a sun spreading light. You can spread the Krishna consciousness wherever you stay. Right? Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sandobhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the message.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Srila
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.